What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Purple and Gold podcast. Today, we have a 3-round Kansas City Chiefs mock draft video here for you. So, before we get this thing started, consider hitting the subscribe button, leave a like, and leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I always get a good laugh at the comment section in my videos. But without further ado, we're going to take a look at this depth chart real quick. I'm just going to go over very quickly what I feel like are the biggest needs on this team. And we won't necessarily be drafting for need. But it's good to see where the holes are on this team, and if we can fill them, um, that would be ideal. So, looking at the offensive side, obviously this is a team heavily built on the offense. That's pretty clear. But I think the biggest hole right now will probably be at wide receiver. You have Juju Smith-Schuster, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and McCole Hardman. I think all of those guys cap off at wide receiver 2 at best. So I just feel like if you can bring a guy who is first round worthy and can potentially take over as a new number 1 receiver as the Tyreek Hill replacement, I guess that wouldn't really hurt. And this wide receiver class has a ton of depth this year. So if there's any year to go after a wide receiver, I think this is one of them. And then obviously there's going to be more needs on the defensive side of the ball, but looking at this team on paper, I mean, it doesn't look that horrible, I guess you could say. I mean, they definitely made some huge additions, Justin Reed being one of them. And I think Chris Jones' ability, like his flexibility to also play on the edge, which he proved that he could do this year, is just phenomenal. So I think for this team, I think you have the ability to draft either another interior guy or go after another edge defender because Chris Jones can play either or. So I think that gives them a lot of flexibility heading into this year's draft. I think linebacker is another spot that there can be someone added there. I think Willie Gay and Nick Bolton. I think you have to let those two guys play out their rookie contracts and see what they can do on that small deal. But I think Jermaine Carter is definitely someone that's replaceable, and I think it's really possible that someone like a Nakobe Dean could fall, and I think that would be a huge value pick for this Kansas City team here in the late first round, and then also cornerback. So really, at every level, there seems to be one or two holes that need to be filled on this team. So I think there's going to be a huge emphasis on trying to make this defense a little better. But if the right players are there in offense, we're not going to pass up on value. So we're going to head into this mock draft right now. Typically, I'm on the Draft Network, but for some reason, it's still not loading up on my computer for the Draft Network. So we're here on PFF's mock draft simulator. We are not going to be doing any trades. We're going to stick and pick. And like I said, only for the first 3 rounds. So we're sitting here with picks 29 and 30. So who is still here that I would not mind having on the team? See, this is interesting. Daxton Hill is listed as a cornerback. He's a safety. So that's typically why I'm not using PFF's mock draft simulator, but we gotta do what we gotta do. So I want to take a look at the wide receivers, right? I'm looking at the best players available, and there's just no one that I think would really have an impact on this team. And this team is obviously trying to win right now. This isn't a team that's building for the future. Cornerback, I think, is another one that we want to look at. We can look at the interior, the defensive line, edge rusher, and linebacker as well. Okay, so, Jalen Petrie is a guy that I really like. I believe that he's a first round talent. I don't know if he'll go in the first round this year. Again, another guy listed as corner. He's a safety. Sky Moore is another intriguing one. Boye Mafe. That guy can definitely be a plug in and play at edge. I think he's kind of a raw talent. I can kind of compare him to like an Odafe Owe from last year's draft. So I think that can be a really intriguing pick for a lot of these teams later on in the first round. Jahan Dotson is still here. That's a guy that I really like. Roger McCreary is another one that I really like. Wow. There are a lot of solid players still on the board. Now we have 30, and then we'll have 50 and 62. Wow. All right. So, hmm, very interesting. And Jahan Dotson is someone that I've taken quite a bit in my mock drafts in the past, and I think it's good to mix it up a little bit here. Um, Honestly, I think Sky Moore would be a huge addition to this team. So we're gonna go with him with our first pick. And then with our second pick here, do we want to address that secondary? Now, Travis Jones would be an interesting pick. I don't know if either Sky Moore or Travis Jones would end up going in the first round. It's really interesting to see how the Draft Network has these guys ranked. Just want to take a look at the running back position. Yeah, Ronald Jones was just added to the team, so that's not really, in the mix. So I think what I'm gonna do right here is I'm actually gonna take Boye Mafe, and you just slide back Chris Jones into the interior because really he's gonna play both at a very high level. We already made that, very clear. All right, and we're gonna sit here at 50 now. So we've had a pretty good draft so far. I think we took two guys that are rated very highly according to PFF. Uh, we got good value, and they also filled two needs. So I just think that that's a huge plus for us. What do we want to do here? See, I also feel like Chad Mumo would be a huge value right here. I mean, he's gonna play that inside role. Troy Anderson's another intriguing one. DeMarvin Leal as well, but we don't need him now that we already got Boye Mafe. Very, very interesting. And we have another second round pick after this. Now, I might just go ahead and snag Jalen Petre just because I feel like at this point it's too much talent to pass up on. Thornhill, Reed. Yeah, and there, if you have Jalen Petre on your team, there's definitely gonna be opportunities where you have packages where you can put three safeties on the field. And heck, I mean, if you want to make him your corner, then so be it. It's a very, very smart player in Jalen Petre. Very interesting. Because actually, when you look between Chad Muma and Anderson, I personally like Chad Muma more, but I really wouldn't mind having Troy Anderson as well. He's a baller. I think we're gonna take our chances here. So I'm gonna go Petre right here. All right, and let's see. Okay, and Troy Anderson does make it to 62. So we're gonna go ahead and do that there. Perfect. This draft is made up of a lot of value for us, and we're also filling needs at the same time. And I believe so. We have two more picks after this. All right. Wow, Khalil Shakir is still here. That would be fun. Marcus Jones as well. All right, so because we already got our receiver in Sky Moore, and I don't want to miss out on getting a cornerback. I think what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take Marcus Jones. I really like Khalil Shakir, by the way. And then with our last pick here, what do we want to do? We could take Damian Pierce out of Florida. Wouldn't hurt to have a third running back, although we have Gore on the team. Oops, did not mean to do that. Interesting. Cam Taylor-Britt. Oh, that's actually another good one. I want to just look at the cornerbacks that we have on this team. It's Rashad Fenton, L'Jarius Sneed. Wow, DeAndre Baker. Let's not get started with that. I'm actually gonna go right ahead and take Cam Taylor-Britt out of Nebraska. A very lengthy corner, and I think that's why he's gonna be heavily considered in the middle rounds. Alrighty, so PFF really likes the way that we did our draft right here. We got an A for pretty much everyone except Anderson and Taylor-Britt, but personally, I like the way that this draft went. This is not something that I would see on the other mock draft simulator that I typically work with, but this would be huge. I mean, like I said, in terms of value, according to this big board and the needs that we had, I mean, it's just a home run. Like we talked about how wide receiver and defensive line we wanted to make an emphasis on. Um, and right there, those are our first two picks right there. Now, Petre is listed as a corner. I think he's a safety, but look, it's an A plus value at round 2, pick 50. I certainly agree with that. Like I said, yes, you do want to address some of your needs, but if there is a player that is just too good to pass up on, you don't do it, because at the end of the day, the draft is there to make your team better. And the only way you do that is by getting good players. So if a good player is sitting there at the right place, you gotta take him. You can't pass up on it. And look, we still had the opportunity to fill in yet another need in Troy Anderson at the end of the second round, and then continue to fill more needs with getting value at the same time in Marcus Jones and Cam Taylor-Britt. I am very happy with the way that this draft went. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I'd be excited about this draft class. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Um, Hopefully, I got this right for your team. If I didn't, let me know in the comment section below. It's the Purple and Gold Podcast. Again, consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys all later.